Welcome back, my friend. Tonight, we enter the first light of Tudor London, where a wounded city begins to heal. Young Henry VIII captures the people's imagination, and the Thames awakens with trade, music, color, and celebration. Let us drift gently into a new century filled with hope. Settle in, breathe slowly, and let history carry you towards sleep. Subscribe to Deep Sleep Storytelling for more peaceful journeys through history, science, and the mysteries of the sea.
Henry VII and the quiet rebirth of a city. A cautious king for a cautious city. Henry VII arrives in London after his victory at Bosworth with the expression of a man who knows fortune can smile and frown in the same week. He has won a kingdom, but he knows it is a fragile one. Every hallway of the palace hides rival claims. Every noble family carries memories of battles lost or brothers slain. London senses this caution. The city mirrors it. People keep their emotions measured. Merchants watch the markets carefully. Guilds speak politely but hold their breath during council meetings. The walls of the tower feel heavier than usual, as if listening for the slightest tremor of unrest. And Henry, understanding the fragile mood, responds with deliberate gentleness. He does not roar his authority. He steps carefully, stitching the kingdom together with patience rather than force. In this quietness, London feels a strange comfort. A city learning to trust again. Throughout the early 1500s, London slowly recovers from the wounds of civil war. Its scars are not burned buildings or shattered gates. They are emotional ones, families divided by loyalty, guilds that hesitated to choose sides, merchants who feared investing in unstable times, ordinary people who simply longed for peace. Under Henry VII, the peace grows firmer every year. Crime lessens. Taxes become predictable. Trade routes open more reliably. The courts function with more consistency. Even the river traffic feels smoother, as if the Thames itself senses the calming of the kingdom. Londoners start to move with more confidence. Their steps sound louder on the cobblestones. Their conversations carry a little more hope. The city begins to breathe again. The rise of new wealth. Henry VII is not a glamorous king, but he is a brilliant one. He understands money. He understands the power of careful calculation. He knows that a kingdom grows stable when its people grow prosperous. So he supports merchants, he reduces unnecessary wars, he encourages trade with Europe, he rewards loyalty with economic opportunities instead of titles. London thrives under this approach. In the markets of Cheapside, stalls overflow with foreign goods. Cloth from Flanders, wine from Gascony, silks from Italy, spices from the East, their scents drifting like warm dreams through narrow lanes. Guilds expand their influence. Some grow wealthy enough to rival minor nobles. Their halls fill with carved wood, painted banners, and soft candlelight during celebrations. For the first time, London feels like a city that might rise beyond medieval limits. the streets of early Tudor London. Walk with me through a spring morning around the year 1505. The air is cool, smelling faintly of river mist and warm bread. Timber houses lean inward over narrow lanes, their upper floors crowding close like gossiping neighbors. A baker slides loaves from a brick oven, steam drifting into the street. A fishmonger arranges baskets of eels and salted herring. Apprentices carry crates of wool, their boots tapping briskly against stone. A priest rings a small bell as he passes, whispering prayers for the sick. Children chase dogs between market stalls. A merchant in a velvet cap counts coins under the rising sun. It is a living city, noisy but not chaotic, full of the steady rhythm of people who believe tomorrow will look much like today. After years of fear, that feeling is precious. London and the new royal family. Henry VII and his queen, Elizabeth of York, become symbols of unity. Their marriage joins the red rose and the white. Their children promise a future not defined by war. London loves imagery, it loves symbolism, and it welcomes anything that suggests the kingdom will remain peaceful. When the royal family appears in public, crowds gather quickly. People whisper blessings. Mothers lift children to see the procession. Londoners feel proud, as if the city itself played a role in healing the kingdom. The great churches hold services celebrating stability. Poets write verses about the new era. Even taverns, known for their skepticism, speak kindly of the king. Henry VII is not flamboyant. He is not glamorous. But he is steady. And steadiness is exactly what London has longed for. A city preparing for change. Even in peace, the city senses that something larger is forming. New ideas drift over from Italy and the Low Countries. Richer colors appear in clothing. Music becomes more complex. Books become more accessible. Artists experiment with new styles. Architects dream of grander buildings made of brick instead of timber. London does not yet know the word Renaissance, but it feels the early tremors of it. The century ahead will be filled with changes so dramatic, so sweeping, so transformative, that they will redefine the city forever. For now, these changes whisper rather than shout. They arrive quietly, like the first light before dawn. But London hears them, and London waits. Ending the chapter. Rest your thoughts for a moment. Imagine early Tudor London falling into a gentle night. Lanterns glow along the bridge. Merchants lock their shutters. Apprentices trudge home, tired but hopeful. The river glimmers under moonlight, carrying dreams toward the sea. Henry VII has brought peace. London has begun to heal, and the century is stretching forward, ready to build
Burst into brilliance under the king who will follow.
the young King Henry VIII and the city that fell in love. Breathe in softly, my friend. Let your shoulders loosen. Tonight we step into one of the most dazzling early mornings in English history, a moment when London wakes to the news that a young, vibrant, astonishingly charismatic king now sits upon the throne. The year is 1509. Henry VII has passed, leaving behind a kingdom stable but cautious, disciplined but quiet. And onto this stage steps his son. Henry, 18 years old, tall, handsome, athletic, educated, charming, overflowing with confidence. London has never seen anything quite like him. A sunrise over the Thames. Imagine the river at dawn on the morning the news spreads. Mist curls like soft white silk along the water. Boats drift slowly. The first markets begin to stir. Mothers wake children. Apprentices rub sleep from their eyes. And then the bells ring, not with fear, not with warning, but with celebration. A new king, a new energy, a new century opening its doors. London seems to wake faster that morning. People smile at strangers. Merchants step outside earlier than usual, eager to hear the gossip. Even the gulls circling the river squawk with what sounds almost like excitement. Something electric hangs in the air. The king who was everything the city dreamed of. Henry VIII begins his reign with the joyous confidence of someone who has never tasted defeat. Unlike his wary, meticulous father, he moves boldly and brightly. He speaks multiple languages. He composes music. He hunts with incredible skill. He plays tennis with surprising speed. He debates theology with scholars. He laughs loudly and often. And London, which sometimes grows weary of solemn kings, adores him instantly. Everywhere he goes, crowds gather. Women whisper behind veils. Men cheer. Children climb onto barrels or shoulders to catch a glimpse of him passing. He is a king who makes the city feel young again. Catherine of Aragon and the Golden Beginning. Henry's first great act is a romantic one. He marries Catherine of Aragon, his brother's widow, a woman admired for her intelligence and grace. London loves her. On the day of their coronation, the streets shine with color. Guilds decorate their halls with banners. Tapestries hang from windows. Flowers are scattered across the cobblestones. Musicians line the roads near St. Paul's, their melodies drifting high over the rooftops. The procession moves slowly through the city, and Londoners feel as if they are witnessing the opening scene of a bright new play, one filled with promise and abundance. That night, the city glows like a candle held against darkness. Lanterns sway above the streets. Taverns spill out with celebration. People dance in small squares under the summer sky. The Tudor sun has risen. A city of hope and color. Under Henry VIII's early rule, London experiences something rare: optimism. The city grows wealthier, trade expands. Ships from Spain, Portugal, the Low Countries, and Italian states crowd the river. Merchants fill their ledgers with ink instead of questions. Craftsmen take on more apprentices. Houses are repaired or expanded. Guilds find new strength in royal favor. Even fashion brightens. Rich, Blues and reds appear in tunics. Women wear dress sleeves longer and more elegantly. Men sport finer caps, richer fabrics, and more polished shoes. London feels like it is stepping into the sunlight after a long winter. Music in the palaces, laughter in the streets. The early Tudor court is vibrant. Palaces echo with lutes and harps. Courtiers dance in long halls, lit by candles that shimmer across polished floors. Poets present verses to the king. Artists craft elaborate pageants for feasts and celebrations. Londoners do not see these scenes directly, but they feel their energy. Taverns imitate the court dances. Street musicians attempt new melodies inspired by palace music. Young men practice fencing or archery, hoping the king might notice their skill during festivals. Guilds compete to host the most impressive celebrations. Even the river seems livelier, crowded with small boats, carrying people who simply wish to feel close to the palace glow. Henry VIII and the city's ambition. Henry VIII has many flaws, but one great gift. He inspires ambition in others. Londoners begin to dream bigger, merchants expand trade routes, craftsmen reach for better materials, scholars gather in university halls, discussing ideas drifting in from Europe. Architects begin to experiment with early Renaissance designs. Theaters and players gain new audiences. Henry brings the world to London, and London responds eagerly. It is a mutual admiration. He loves the city's noise, its energy, its markets, its river, its people. And the city loves his brightness, his boldness, his sense of possibility. For a moment, it feels as if nothing bad could ever happen. A city unaware of the storms ahead. We, standing centuries away, know that Henry's reign will not remain golden. We know there will be storms. We know there will be great upheavals. We know the cheerful young king will one day become something far more complex. But London in 1509 does not know this. London only knows the glow of the beginning. The music, the color, the laughter, the hope, and perhaps, in a sleep story such as ours, it is kindest to let the city savor that innocence for a moment longer. Ending the chapter. Rest now, traveler. Let the bright early days of Henry VIII settle softly into your thoughts. Imagine the Thames at sunset, reflecting the warm hues of lanterns and palace lights. Imagine the cheerful noise drifting from taverns. Imagine the city, full of life and promise, unaware of the dramatic century waiting ahead. London sleeps under a young and dazzling king, and the world feels wide open. London, the merchant queen. Let your breath fall gently into a slow and steady rhythm, my friend. Tonight we drift deeper into Tudor London, not through palaces or coronations, but through the heartbeat of the city itself. For while kings command armies and nobles hold land, it is the merchants who feed the streets. fill the wharves, and keep the river alive. And in the early years of Henry VIII's reign, London becomes something extraordinary, a city of trade, a city of ships, a city humming with business from dawn until midnight. A merchant queen clothed not in silk, but in noise and opportunity. The river that never sleeps. Picture the Thames at sunrise. The light has barely touched the rooftops, yet the river is already awake. Longboats drift silently. Sailors shout to one another as they unload crates. The splash of oars echoes near the bridge. A salty breeze carries scents from distant coasts. Ships arrive from Antwerp, laden with fine cloth, polished metal goods, and books printed on new mechanical presses. Galleons from Spain bring citrus, olive oil, and wine. Italian merchants arrive with bottles of perfume, glass beads, silk ribbons, and small wonders nobody in London has ever seen before. Every crate opened along the riverfront feels like a small miracle. Londoners adore miracles. They gather to watch the unloading as if attending a performance. Children point excitedly. Apprentices hurry back and forth with wide eyes. Merchants supervise every detail with the seriousness of priests at a sacred ritual. The river is not merely water, it is London's lifeblood. Cheapside, the city's shining spine. Walk with me into Cheapside on a bright Tudor morning. The street stretches forward like a ribbon of color and noise. Stalls crowd every corner. Shops with painted signs hang overhead. Women bargain confidently. Merchants praise their goods with theatrical flair. Fresh bread steams in baskets. Wool in every shade of cream, brown and gray, hangs in thick bundles. Silk catches the light and shimmers as if holding sunlight captive. Butchers slam cleavers into wooden blocks. Goldsmiths work behind open shutters, their windows glowing with small fires. The noise is constant. The smells are rich and mixed. It is chaos, but it is joyful chaos, the sort that makes a city feel alive. This is the street where fortunes begin and fortunes end, where the rising middle class discovers its identity, and where London learns to dream, bigger than ever before. The guilds and their growing power. Behind the markets are the guilds, the quiet engines of the city, the organizations that train apprentices, protect crafts, regulate markets, and negotiate directly with the crown. Their halls are impressive. Wooden beams carved with elegant symbols, tapestries showing saints or kings, long tables polished smooth by centuries of elbows. Men in rich robes gather for meetings, their voices steady, their debates serious. They discuss taxes, they discuss laws, they discuss trade routes, they discuss the price of wool, which is always a matter of national importance. Henry VIII, in his early years, respects these men. He knows that London's wealth rests not only in palaces, but in the counting houses and workshops of ordinary craftsmen. The guilds grow stronger. Their influence spreads across the city, and soon the merchant class becomes a force capable of shaping politics, arts, and even royal decisions. London is no longer merely a city. It is a business empire. The workshops of innovation. Inside London's alleys, especially around Smithfield and Southwark, craftsmen push their trades to new levels. Silversmiths create delicate cups and jewelry fit for noble tables. Bookbinders craft leather covers embossed with gold. Fletchers build arrows balanced so perfectly that they seem to float through air. Tanners produce leather so smooth it feels alive. Cloth merchants dye fabrics in vats of rich blue imported from overseas. These craftsmen rarely appear in royal portraits, but they are the true builders of Tudor prosperity. Their hands shape the city. Their skill drives its economy. Their ambition transforms London from a medieval market town into a Renaissance metropolis. Foreigners in the city. As trade expands, London becomes more cosmopolitan. Dutch traders open shops. Italian bankers set up counting houses. French weavers settle in small communities. German metalworkers bring new techniques to the city. Spanish and Portuguese sailors wander taverns filled with songs in a dozen languages. Londoners are sometimes suspicious, sometimes fascinated, often both. But the city grows richer with every new arrival. Ideas flow across borders, inventions spread more quickly, art, food, and fashion evolve in unexpected ways. London becomes a patchwork of cultures stitched together by trade. Wealth changes the city's shape. With money pouring into the city, houses grow taller and more elaborate. Brick begins to replace timber in wealthier neighborhoods. Streets are paved more carefully. Warehouse districts expand along the river. New bridges and quays are planned. The skyline changes. Slowly, steadily, confidently. Where once stood simple merchant homes, now rise residences with glass windows and decorated doorways. Workshops expand into multi-level businesses. Counting houses are built with secure rooms and thick doors. London feels as if it is stretching upward, trying to touch the Renaissance that blooms across Europe. The joy and danger of prosperity. Prosperity is wonderful, but it is never simple. With wealth comes inequality. With growth comes congestion. With opportunity comes competition. The city grows crowded, rents rise. Streets become louder. Crime increases in narrow alleys after sunset. Markets struggle with regulation as goods flow faster than officials can count them. And beneath the surface, envy begins to simmer carefully. Not yet a threat, but present. Still, London moves forward with unstoppable momentum. Its merchants are ambitious. Its guilds are organized. Its people are energetic. London sees itself as the beating heart of England's future. Ending the chapter, let the noise of the markets fade softly from your thoughts. Let the river settle into quiet ripples. Let the scent of bread, spice, and warm wool drift away like morning mist. You have walked through a city growing richer by the day, a city discovering its own power. Soon, London will face storms. Religious storms, political storms, storms stirred by the very king who now shines so brightly. But for now, let the city rest in its golden moment. Let yourself rest with it. The city that learned to celebrate. Close your eyes for a moment, my friend. Let your breathing slow. Tonight we wander through a London filled not with war or worry, but with music, banners, and the dazzling glow of royal spectacle. The early reign of Henry VIII is a time when the city learns to celebrate again, louder and brighter than ever before. A time when the river becomes a stage, when the streets become theaters, when Londoners discover the joy of watching their king live as if the world were one endless festival. Let us step into that world now. A young king who loves display. Henry VIII is not content to sit quietly in a palace. He wants to be seen. He wants to move through the city with the kind of presence that makes crowds gasp and chatter long after he passes. He rides horses with unmatched skill. He hunts with the speed of a man born to the saddle. He plays music that makes courtiers raise eyebrows with admiration. He laughs loudly, and the sound seems to brighten the room. London responds with enthusiasm. When Henry appears at the city gates or along the river, people rush to see him. Fishermen pull in their nets early. Merchants leave their shops. Children race through alleys, shouting that the king is near. It feels like living inside a festival that never quite ends. Pageants across the Thames. The Thames becomes Henry's favorite stage. Imagine a warm summer afternoon. The sky glows soft blue. The river glitters like silver beaten smooth by the sun. Crowds gather along the banks near London Bridge. Royal barges appear, carved and painted, their canopies bright with Tudor colors. Musicians play lutes and trumpets from the decks. Oars rise and fall with perfect rhythm. Nobles wave from behind embroidered curtains. Londoners cheer like spectators at a grand procession. They lean forward, straining to see every detail. Hawkers sell meat pies and ale. Children sit on their father's shoulders. Women fan themselves in the warm breeze, their eyes shining with delight. The river becomes alive with celebration. Boats of all sizes follow behind the royal barges, turning the Thames into a floating carnival. Festivals in the city streets. On land, London is no less alive. Henry encourages tournaments and public entertainments. The city's open spaces fill with tents, musicians, jugglers, dancers, and performers from across England and even from continental Europe. The noise of celebration echoes between the timber houses. Drums, pipes, songs sung in voices that rise above the rooftops. There is mock combat performed for the crowds. There are plays performed in inn courtyards. There are parades where guilds display their crafts in elaborate costumes. People laugh, shout, clap, and chant with a kind of joyful abandon. The Middle Ages felt heavy, but the Tudor Dawn feels light, almost theatrical. The Field of Cloth of Gold. One of the greatest spectacles of Henry's early reign takes him away from London, but its excitement spreads through every corner of the city. In 1520, Henry meets the French King Francis near Calais for an event so lavish that its name survives centuries: the Field of Cloth of Gold. Londoners hear stories of fountains flowing with wine, of golden fabrics stretching across tents like sunlight made solid, of jousts, feasts, wrestling matches, dances, and music echoing late into the night, of two young kings trying to outshine each other with extravagant brilliance. Merchants repeat the tales in taverns. Sailors embellish them with each retelling. Even priests, usually cautious with enthusiasm, cannot resist smiling when they describe the glowing banners and festivals. London may not witness the Field of Cloth of Gold firsthand, but it lives inside the city's imagination like a vivid dream, a symbol of the Tudor world, a world of color, spectacle, and ambition. A city that dresses to impress. Henry's love of grandeur influences the city itself. Londoners begin dressing more boldly. Men wear brighter fabrics. Women style their garments with fine sleeves, jewels, and elaborate hoods. Merchants invest in higher quality wool and imported dyes. Even apprentices, when they can afford it, save for colorful belts or fine shoes. The city becomes a canvas of fashion. The old grays and browns of medieval life give way to blues, reds, greens, and golds. It is as if the entire population has decided that life is richer and their clothing must reflect it. Music fills the air. The soundscape of the city changes as well. Under Henry VIII, music becomes a part of everyday life, not only in palaces, but in taverns, in fields, in small workshops where craftsmen hammer tools. In rhythm with wandering fiddlers, you hear lutes drifting from open windows. Flutes echo along Cheapside. Drums beat during festivals. Church choirs grow more ambitious, layering harmonies in ways that astonish congregations. London begins to feel like a city where every street could start singing at any moment. The people discover pleasure. Prosperity and royal spectacle spill into ordinary life. Taverns fill with laughter late into the night. Feasts and celebrations become more frequent. Wrestling matches draw cheering crowds. Minstrels earn coins along the riverbanks. Young couples stroll through markets that stay open longer than ever before. For a moment, London lives in joyous contrast to its past. No famine, no plague, no civil war. Just the cheerful pulse of a city enjoying its own growth. Even the guilds, usually sober and focused on business, host feasts that last far past sunset. Londoners eat better, sleep better, dream bigger. But shadows wait at the edges. Prosperity is a warm cloak, but it does not erase everything. Some grumble about taxes, some fear foreign influence, some whisper about the king's growing appetite for power. Some priests worry that too much celebration leads people away from faith. But these concerns remain faint for now, distant clouds at the far horizon. London is too dazzled by color, too enchanted by music, too energized by trade to pay them full attention. The storms of the future will come, but not yet. For now, the city basks in its golden light. Ending the chapter, let the music of Tudor London fade gently from your mind. Let the river quiet. Let the crowds disperse into soft evening shadows. Imagine lanterns glowing along the streets as the city settles into nighttime. The day's noise drifts upward and dissolves into the sky. Boats rock gently on the Thames. Taverns dim their candles. The last notes of lute music whisper toward the rooftops. London sleeps, wrapped in celebration and youth, but change is stirring far beyond its cheerful festivals.
Let the music and laughter of early Tudor London slowly fade into the evening air. Wend deranging contage, we have watched a wounded city find peace under Henry VII, then awaken with new confidence beneath the bright young reign of Henry VIII. The Thames has carried ships, merchants, music, and dreams through the heart of a growing capital. Markets have flourished, guilds have risen, and London has learned once again how to celebrate. But beyond the color and pageantry, quieter changes are beginning. Old traditions still hold the city together, yet distant storms are gathering. For now, rest gently beside the river. The Tudor story has only just begun.